What is your will, my master?
Hey, what's up, Eric? This is a quick demo for your Predator Saber. this thing, this thing is an absolute beast. Probably took about $50 worth of PTFE wire to wire it up, but it's all done. It's got a CFX in it. I used the provided resin chassis that you sent and the speaker holder. So I went with what was intended for the Saber. So it's got a recharge port right here. Your two switches are right here. So your front switch is going to be your activation and your back will be your auxiliary. What else we got? To get to your board, it's a little tricky because of the way that this guy was set up. Oh, this is the guy that made it, by the way. Darth Alliance Custom. That's Will over there. He made this. So I just wanted to shout that out real quick. To get to your board, what you have to do is take this brass greebly off. And it's super tight. So you just want to unscrew it. I'll do that now. And then once you take that out, this piece right here comes out like that. And then you'll see your speaker up in there. And if you go like that, I wired this long enough, and this is how it was intended, right? I wired this long enough to where the speaker will come out and hang off to the side. And then you can get to your board and your your SD card and your micro USB. Once you're done doing everything that you need to do there, you need to coil these wires back up, twist them, clockwise, and then put your speaker back in here. And then we line this up with the hole that is on top for the greebly there. And then this pushes the speaker into the chassis. I made the chassis is only as far in there as it needed to be in order for the speaker to get held in place, and it remains tight so there's no vibration. And then we lock this brass greebly down, which locks your pommel in. Whoops. It's on a turnkey system. We're going to go ahead and turn that. I'll show you that here in a second. This was the kill key that came with your Saber. At first, I wasn't sure it was going to work, but it works fine. And this one, you can actually turn on and off. Most of the time with these, I find that they turn on easy, but when you go to turn them off, it's hard to do. But this one works out pretty good, actually. If you find that it's hard to get to your board, something I've done when I wired this up was I left enough slack in your CCSabers PCB there where you can undo the set screw and take this PCB out from the front, and it will hang down like the speaker does. And you have to get yourself long enough. I had a long file. I don't suggest using a file unless you know what you're doing, because there's a lot of wires in here that you have to get past so that you can get to a corner of your chassis and push it out this way. Do what you need to do and then push it back in. And in order to do that, you'd have to take, this greebly off. You'd have to take this screw and this greebly off, and then the shroud comes off, and you'll see a set screw under here where I had to drill and tap to hold that in place. So you loosen that, and that thing will slide right out on you, and then you can push your chassis back. That is how this Saber works, right? There's just no way around it. I was going to try my hand at modeling a different chassis, but the one that came with it worked. It was printed out of resin, so I wanted you to be able to have that, and then it also had a curve to it. The curve was the same as the Saber, and then when it comes to making curved chassis, it's something I'm still trying to work on, and I could not have done better than the chassis that was provided, so I went ahead and I used that. One thing I did change though is that you sent me a battery with this too, but this is a 2600 milliamp battery. That's not strong enough for NeoPixel. You need at least 3000. So I didn't use this guy. I put my own battery in. I'll send this back to you. And that's pretty much it. So now we can turn the Saber on, right? I'm just going to pull this out. Sounds really loud. So activation. You got a smooth swing. Get your LEDs in there firing up. Just like that. I did have to come in here and put a blade retention set screw right here because these greeblies were not long enough to use as blade retentions. I had thought that I was going to be able to get away with that, but they weren't. So I added a grub screw right up top here. It's an 832. And we'll put a blade in right now. This takes a 1-inch neopixel blade, or 1-inch diameter neopixel blade. And you will want to lock it down. So if you just tap auxiliary right, you get your blaster deflex. Or if you hold down auxiliary, you get blade lock up. Hold down auxiliary to change your sound fonts.
Sound bank selection. Nightfall. Crystal focus. Crystal focus.
When you find one you like, just hold a button down. I mean, this Saber is massive. If you don't want to change color, just hold down aux and twist your wrist. You hear spectrum. And now you can twist the Saber to pick whatever you want. So if we want a green, let's go. There's a good green. We tap power. That sound font is super loud. But, you know, and then we hit activation again, we got a green blade. Now you can just hear it. It just screams out of here. You can feel it. Good flash on clash. Just like that, and we'll take the blade out. Yeah, this thing is probably one of the biggest lightsabers I've ever installed. No joke when it took about $50 worth of PTFE wire on this guy, because I had to, I had to wire up the recharge port, and that wire had to come all the way out here so I could do what I needed to do. And the same with, some other components you probably don't care about. But the important thing is it works. We'll turn the power on, then we'll put the kill key on so you can see everything dies. Just like that. And everything's dead just like it's supposed to be. But anyway, that is your Predator Saber. Let me know if you got any questions. And if not, this guy will go out in the mail to you tomorrow. All right. Thanks, man.